Hi, lovely listeners. Welcome back to the Meeting of Minds podcast. So I've had a little break. I've had quite a lot of thoughts about where I'm going to go with the podcast. I don't have a real strong direction. I'm still going to allow it to sort of be a bit free flow and go with what seems right. And I should imagine, like before, I might start recording about one subject, but actually it turns into a podcast about another, and I'm quite happy for that to still happen. But I have sort of made a few little decisions. I'm going to try a series now with shorter episodes. So this is going to really challenge me because, as you know, I can talk. I like having a good chat. I like, certainly when I have guests on, I really like being able to delve deep with them. But I'm going to try and keep the episodes, she says quickly looking at the clock, under 30 minutes or under. So I'm going to try and do that for 10 or 12 episodes and see how I get on. So that is going to be quite a challenge, but it's going to be good. And also I'm going to try and be a bit more organized with what I'm saying here on the podcast, with my content elsewhere. Not that really bothers you because you're listening to it here and that's fine. But I think the time has come to be a little bit more intentional. And I think that goes with the general theme of today's episode, which is going to be me just talking about things that I have learned doing the first 3 series of my podcast, because I think the things that I have learned about my podcast are actually quite good things in general to talk about. So the first thing I've learned is to do it my way. Do what feels good to me. And, you know, if you've listened to previous podcasts, you will know that I'm a recovering people pleaser and recovering perfectionist, and also recovering from looking outside myself for validation to being able to look inside and listen to myself about whether what I am doing, what decisions I make feel right to me, rather than having to check those out with other people. That's not to say I don't ask for advice or information or other people's take on things, but ultimately I make the decisions and I'm okay with those decisions. So yeah, I'm going to do this my way. I mean, obviously it's my podcast. I have been doing it my way anyway. There has always been a little niggle in the back of my head about, am I doing it right? Who's going to tell me whether it's right or wrong? Is it good enough? Do people want to listen to what I've got to say? But actually, I've decided that if I don't put episodes out, nobody's going to listen. So actually, what have I got to lose? I love doing the podcast. I love talking, as you all know. I love sharing things that I've learned or come across, things that I think you might find useful. So I am going to carry on doing it that way, and doing it for as long and in a way that feels good to me. And I think that's a lesson for life. It really is, because I'm not just doing that in my podcast. I'm doing that in my personal life and in my business generally as well. So that's number 1. Number 2, I keep glancing at the clock to see where I'm up to with time. Number 2, don't stress about it being perfect. Obviously, as a recovering perfectionist, I did stress about it being perfect at the beginning. I did think that I couldn't stumble over my words. I've really tried so hard to stop saying all the time. Still do. I had to stop myself saying it then. I still do say but that's okay. That's really okay. There you go, done it. So I'm not going to stress about it being perfect. I rarely edit episodes, and what you hear is pretty much what is recorded. And I think you like hearing that, because people keep tuning in, you keep tuning in and keep listening to new episodes. So I have learned to not stress about it being perfect, because I think if I did stress, I just wouldn't do it. So it's better done and out than fiddling and faffing around with it and it being until it's perfect and actually it never been put out. So that's number 2, don't stress. I'm not stressing about it being perfect. Number 3 is I'm not comparing. So yeah, I mean, that's a big one for me. Comparisonitis is, something I really suffer from. That's why social media is not really good for me. I've got to be very strict with how much time I spend on there. And because I will start looking up other coaches, I'll start looking up other people, and I will start comparing myself to them, and it will stop me in my tracks. It will stop me doing the work that I want to do. It will stop me creating courses and workshops and putting offers out there about the things that I want to do. And, I know I have things that I know that can do that will help people. And I need to make people aware of the things that I do so that the people who need it can hear about it. So not comparing is a really big one for me. I really have to not compare myself to others. And if that means that I stay off social media, if that means that I just paddle my own canoe, well, who else's canoe would I be paddling? I'm always mixing my metaphors. But if I just stay in my lane and do my own thing and don't look to left or right too much, then I can just carry on. And that's what I'm really going to try and do. It's hard. It really is hard, but that's what I'm going to try and do. The next thing I've learned is that I can slow down. Firstly, I noticed when I started the podcast how quickly I speak. And I have really learned to slow down. I've slowed down a bit anyway. I know there are a lot of people who speak much more slowly than I do. But I like listening to podcasts. I have a lot that I listen to. So in order to get through them in a week, I tend to listen to them slightly speeded up. So I listen to them on 120% speed. So I reckoned that if I could listen to me at 120% speed and still understand what I'm saying, then I was doing okay. And that is where I'm at the moment. So I'm really pleased with that. Also, I think that's a great lesson in general in my life about slowing down. Recently, I have realized that I was getting, what's the word? I was getting a little bit, the stress was getting a little bit too much. I was not enjoying it quite so much. So that's why I've taken a bit of a break from the podcast, a bit of a break from promoting my business. Taking some time to actually have a rethink. And that is because I needed some time out, because I'd been going a bit fast. My background is hustle, work, go. And that has led to me burning out many times. And I really want to be able to slow down so I don't burn out again, but also so that I can enjoy things in the moment. And I am learning to do that. And life is so much nicer when I am able to slow down. So not only am I slowing down my speech, I'm also slowing down generally in life. And it is just lovely. Next thing I've learned, doing what you love is okay. Now, of course it is. I would always tell that if somebody said to me, is it okay that I do what I love to do? I would always say, yes, of course it is. But it never occurred to me that I didn't apply that to myself. And what I've realized lately, certainly in my business, is I've been doing all the things. I've been creating this sort of content, doing this, doing that. And actually, it's a bit much. So I've decided to pare it right down, and I'm carrying on with the podcast because I love doing this podcast. I am writing more articles, more for me, but I'm writing them on the Medium platform. I don't know if you like to read blogs and articles, but go and check out Medium if you like reading stuff. You can, I think you can set up an account for free, and you can read 3 articles per month for free. And if you want to read more, you need to have a subscription. And I think it's something like $5 a month, which considering the content I've been reading on there, I think that's okay. So I've got a subscription now, so I can read all the articles that my lovely club members in the Confident Creative Club, that quite a few of us are posting articles on Medium. There are other people there. People have started following my work. I've only posted 3 articles, but it's a really lovely space to be in, and I find there's a certain freedom to my writing that I put on Medium. So I'm doing that. I love it. So I'm carrying on doing that. I am concentrating on group work in my business rather than one-to-one. That's not to say I'm not doing one-to-ones anymore. I will happily work with people one-to-one, but I am concentrating and focusing on my group work because I've realized I really love it. And I love the dynamic in a group and the shifts that people make in a group and can learn from other people. And as the 2 lovely ladies that I'm taking through the second stage of my course at the moment, they said to me that they really like being in a group because the focus is not always on them. Of course, I never really thought about that. That is a really big thing. So they're getting to do the work, they're getting to be with like-minded people, but the focus is not always on them. And they really like that. So that's really great. So doing what you love is okay. In fact, it's more than okay. Doing what you love is actually really necessary, because doing what you love helps fill your cup up. The next thing I've learned is that some of the most popular episodes of the podcast are where I've talked to children of alcoholics, which is really interesting. I've not managed to speak to that many children of alcoholics. The ones I have spoken to, though, those episodes have been really popular. And I think that tells me that there are a lot of people out there who are interested in those episodes, because probably they are either a child of an alcoholic or a child of parents with other addictions, but who don't necessarily want to talk about it and who want to hear other people's experiences, and that's completely okay. Not all of us are able to talk about it, and that's totally understandable. But that just goes to show, I think, how many people there are living with parents who are alcoholics or other or have other similar issues. And I think the problem's just getting bigger. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what the answer is. If that is you, if you recognize yourself in what I'm saying, I hope you're doing okay. And please reach out to me if you just want to be heard, or you want someone to talk to. Please reach out to me. I know what it's like, and I know how hard it is. And what else have I learned? Well, recently, quite a few people have told me that I really should do videos. And yeah, okay. Enough people have said it to me without me really prompting it. So I think that there's probably something in that. And I think I'm not promising that I'm going to do this, and you might not even care, but I think I'm going to consider putting the podcast out on YouTube now as well, using the videos. Eek. But that is what I think I might do. So what I've learned from that is that it's good to listen to what other people have got to say and think about what they've got to say. I'm not doing it because other people have told me to. If the episodes go out on YouTube, it's because I feel that that is probably a good thing to do. And I might just try one series. So I am going to give that a go. I'm used to speaking now, so hopefully it will help me get used to being on video. And why not? Why not? What's the worst that can happen? Well, nobody will ever watch. That's the worst that can happen, isn't it? Yes, okay, people might leave comments that are not very pleasant. I think I'll be able to deal with that, but I don't know. We'll see. And if not, I just won't post anymore. So I think, the lesson there is that give new things a go. It's never too late to learn new things. Yeah, so those are some of the lessons that I've learned from the first 3 series. The other thing, I said something at the top of this, didn't I? And I can't remember what it was. There's still going to be a lot of that, me forgetting things, still very much in the perimenopause, although actually might be in the menopause now. Yeah, enough information. But words, I'm still forgetting. I'm still forgetting something. So there's still going to be all that. I'm keeping this real. And now I've completely forgotten what I was going to say. Okay, I better end it there, hadn't I? So I thought those lessons were worth sharing. Oh, I know what it was. That everyone seems to be starting a podcast now. So, which is great. I think there's room for everybody. Everyone, because listeners, you lovely listeners, are quite discerning about what you want to listen to. Also, I've noticed that some people start and do one series and then don't carry on. I am carrying on because I love this way of connecting with people. So that's it for this episode. I have kept this well under half an hour. Can't quite believe that. Hope there's something useful in here in what I've said. And I'll be back next week. And I will look forward to being in your ears and talking about what comes up for me next time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And, the best way to find out any more about me is go to my website, where you can find out about my book. Should you be interested in knowing more about me, you can buy my book on Amazon, and there's a link on there. You can sign up for my newsletter if you are interested in hearing what I've got to say in my newsletter. Also, you can go to my Medium account, just search for me on there. It's just Philippa Robinson, and there's a few articles on there, and there will be more. So yeah, thanks for listening. You take good care of yourself, and I'll be back next week. Okay, bye.
Thank you for listening to the Meeting of Minds podcast. You can find this podcast in all the usual places. Please tell your friends. Please subscribe. And if you have a moment, I'd be really grateful if you could rate and review, as it helps other people find us and helps me spread the messages of empowerment and positivity that I'm really passionate about. If you want to find out more about me, you can visit my website, www.safeandsupported.co.uk. Until next time, bye.